More news breaking on Jimmy Garoppolo and this entire situation that's been unfolding, the foot injury, and it's been made known that he could be released. There's a path for the Raiders to release Jimmy G. And this guy, if it's not one thing, it's another. And a lot of people like to act like I'm just throwing hate on Jimmy G. I don't like this guy. That's why you're out to get him, Smitty. I'm not. This is just a player that has had a history of being extremely difficult for his team. And people could say he changed the culture in San Francisco, whatever. You have John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan talking bad about him all the time, saying the guy never picks up a phone. And he hid his injury so that he wouldn't get released by the 49ers. And now this situation, the Raiders restructured his deal because Jimmy G failed his physical. You remember when Jimmy G didn't show up to the unveiling of Jimmy G? Remember when he reportedly signed with the Raiders? He was supposed to be introduced as a Las Vegas Raider, and that never happened. There was a delay, and your boy Smitty said something happened. Something happened, and people said, pump the brakes, Smitty, it's fine. They're just a little contract hiccup. No, he failed his physical, and the Raiders had to restructure his contract and take away his signing bonus. And they took his signing bonus and moved it into his salary, and they can cut him for any reason relating to the foot injury. We're breaking down this and more, taking your phone calls. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Let's hit the news desk. If my system will allow it. I guess my system's not going to allow it. Let me see if I can relaunch that. Jimmy Garoppolo, let me read the news here. This might jump into effect here. I don't know. It's not going to show the news desk. It might do it while I'm reading this in a delay. But Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio reports that Jimmy Garoppolo can be released without penalty by the Raiders this summer because of a 2022 foot injury. By the way, appreciate all those new YouTube exclusive members that have been popping up on screen and renewals. You guys absolutely rock. If you want to become a YouTube exclusive member, just click that join button on my, why is my system freaking out here? Why is my system freaking out here? Nothing's working. I'm hitting buttons. Nothing's working. Let me relaunch it. Just go to the join button on the main YouTube page, or go to on mobile. You're going to click on the memberships tab on mobile, but you can join the YouTube exclusive membership. Maybe this will work now. No.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Okay, there we go. We're up and running. This is from Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio. Jimmy Garoppolo original deal included $11.25 million in signing bonus, but that was converted to part of his base salary after he failed his Raiders physical this spring after signing his contract. Garoppolo can be cut for any reason related to his foot, but his $22.5 million salary becomes guaranteed once he passes a physical exam, is active for at least one regular season game, and does not suffer re-injury to his left foot. Now, that part I don't understand fully. Suffers re-injury at what point? Like any point during the season? And then they can just cut him and pay him what they paid him prorated? I don't even know exactly what that means. Certainly, and then it goes on to say, it would certainly seem Garoppolo's physical was most disturbing to the silver and black. What was already looking like a questionable signing now is the makings of a potential fiasco. I just don't understand why anybody saw this as a good signing at all. And we've got so much to talk about, and I know we've already kind of hit on this from several levels already, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse on this topic, but this is breaking news. This is brand new. This from NBC Sports. I'll read it real quickly to you. In fact, I'll let Ziggy read it to you. Let's let Ziggy read it.
As originally negotiated,
Ziggy's
Garappolo had
assistant.
an $11.25 million signing bonus and a base salary of $11.25 million for 2023. The foot injury resulted in the Raiders removing the signing bonus, with the full $22.5 million becoming base salary in 2023. He won't get any of it until he passes a physical. In the interim, the Raiders can cut him for any reason related to Addendum G.
Raiders can cut him for any reason according to a new addendum that was signed into effect the moment he failed his physical, and the whole delay and unveiling of Jimmy G's our new quarterback, took place. This is a disaster. And what I don't care about Jimmy G. No one's starting Jimmy G. He's one of the worst quarterbacks in the National Football League. People don't even know that. They don't even know that. They just say, oh, this guy wins games. He doesn't win games. His team won games. Winning's a team category, a team stat. He didn't win games. His team won games. He was carried. The team carried him into victory. He's not even, there are 32 better quarterbacks that I could find on depth charts or in starting lineups already. Just because the Raiders decided to make him a starting quarterback doesn't mean he's a top 32 quarterback. He's not. And I don't know why people defend this man. He can't throw more than 14, 15 yards down the field. And he throws hospital balls when he does throw 15 yards down the field. Davante Adams needs a quarterback. He's never not had a Derek Carr. Let's move on to Adams at the moment. He's never not had Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers, a field stretcher. And so Adams is going to be handed a quarterback that can't throw the football more than 10, 15 yards down the field accurately. He's being handed a quarterback that only does quick release type situations. He does not extend plays. And so how's Adams going to get downfield 40 yards for a missile that this guy can't even throw? And defenses won't respect Jimmy G one single bit. So guess what happens to this guy? 8-man front season. Welcome to 8-man front season. And yeah, Jimmy G, the lying quarterback. You know, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Blasphemy what? Blasphemy? Are you blasphemous? Are you saying blasphemous for somebody up there? Is there blasphemy going on up above the chat I'm not seeing? Because I certainly know, buddy, you aren't saying it's blasphemy to say that Jimmy G's not a good quarterback. Because the phone line is open for you to call in and discuss that. Maybe Buddy's on my side. I don't know. I'm not sure, Buddy. Not sure. But I'd love for a Jimmy G defender to call in and defend Jimmy G, who's, I agree, the lying quarterback. The lying quarterback. This man hides everything. He hides everything. The Niners were going to cut him. The Niners screwed the pooch on that one. That's on John and Kyle. They should have cut him in the beginning of the offseason and spent the money on offensive line to protect Trey Lance and protect the quarterback room. That's on the Niners. The Niners are to blame for a lot of what happened. But Jimmy G didn't return phone calls. They couldn't get a hold of this guy because he was hiding his injury. And what happened on the combine, the day of the combine? Jimmy G came out and said, yeah, I need surgery. The team didn't even know. Part of that's on John and Kyle. Part of that is on John and Kyle. But the man wouldn't return their phone call for a reason. He was ducking and hiding so he could extend his unveiling of his injury for as long as possible, making it impossible for the team to trade him or cut him. Jimmy G screwed the Niners and Kyle and John, even though Kyle and John let it happen, because he didn't let him know he needed surgery. He knew he needed surgery. He needed surgery. This man is in walking injury. And I'm not wishing injury upon anybody, but he's a walking injury. And he hides it, and he connives. He smiles and grins, and everybody thinks he's this culture changer. Oh, he came in and changed the culture in San Francisco. He's such a good guy. This guy smiles up there after he throws multiple interceptions and loses a game, and goes up there and grins like he just won the game. He's completely smiling, totally happy, not bummed or upset that they lost a game. This guy just feels like a conniver to me, and I can't stand when people defend him and call him such a good person, and he's such a good locker room guy. Look, he on the surface, he might be a likable dude. At even one point, I thought, this is a cool dude. This is a cool, likable guy. Kind of easy to cheer for him, but he hides his injuries. He obviously... The Raiders were completely upset when he failed his physical. He failed his physical. They signed him to a deal. They had to rework his contract. They had the announcing and unveiling of, this is our new starting quarterback. Let's go press conference, Jimmy G. Who didn't show up to their own press conference and unveiling this man, Jimmy G, because he was injured and he failed his physical. And so now they had to rework his contract. They can cut him at any moment. What a disaster. What a disaster. The Niners won games in spite of Jimmy, not because of Jimmy. This is from a Niner fan. Blackbeard's telling you the truth. He's trying to tell you that Jimmy had nothing to do with I shouldn't say had nothing to do. He was climbing on the backs of one of the better football teams in the National Football League. The Niners have the best offense and defense from top to bottom. They just need a quarterback. That's been the problem. We still don't even know who the quarterback is. And that I blame on Kyle. I do. But Jacobs, I know there's a lot of people out there that want to say things like this, and I get it. Hey, Smitty, it's one of those things that I understand when people say it, and there's definitely some reasons why it could be true in some settings and not in others. When you have a bad team, when you have a quarterback that can't throw down the football field, like Jimmy Garoppolo, and you have to do checkdowns. We talked about this on our Zoom call, and it's a very, very good question and point. Could somebody capitalize in this situation? Could it be Josh Jacobs? Hey, Josh, catch the football. Hey, check down Jacobs, catch the football. Yeah, there is a time and a place where this kind of scenario could set up one person to benefit, one benefactor in a very bad situation. The problem is this offense won't be putting anybody in scoring position. So even if Jacobs becomes a check down safety net, he hasn't even signed his contract, number one. He hasn't signed his franchise tag. Now, he'll be forced to sign it, okay? But he's disgruntled. He is telling you, I don't want to play for this man. Adams has already told you, I don't want to play for this man. What more do you need to run away from these two individuals? As much as we like what they did last year, and as good as this kid is right here, Davante Adams, he's such an awesome player, and he's probably the best route runner in the National Football League. That won't save him. And you can't say, oh, he just gets it done, he's Adams. You have never seen him not play with a Carr or Aaron Rodgers gunslinging, laser lock, throw it downfield, loves the deep ball quarterback. You haven't. This guy, I wouldn't be shocked if one or both of them get hurt. Maybe not even severely, but just sit out. I'm injured. I don't want to ruin the odds of me getting another contract. Jacobs is franchise tagged, or will be. He refuses to sign it. The last thing in the world he wants to do is go out there and play for a losing team that's going to be lucky to win 3, 4, 5 games and go out and ruin his body when he's trying to get one more deal, one more contract. He already got screwed by getting franchise tagged in the worst of situations. What did the Raiders need to do? Why did the Raiders need to franchise tag Jacobs? Why did they need to ruin his opportunity to go get a new contract somewhere? They aren't winning in this environment. He said, franchise tag me, and he's not in control of it. I understand that. But he said, franchise tag me if we're going to go reload and win. A la get Aaron Rodgers. Adams said, let's reload and win a championship. Go get Aaron Rodgers. What do the Raiders do? Trade away his best friend. Trade away Derek Carr. The reason why Adams even went to the Raiders to begin with. No concerns or worries or consideration for the man that is the best player on the team. Hey, what do you think? Who do you want throwing the football? Don't you think we should trust the man that is catching all the passes? The guy that's a future Hall of Famer? The guy that everybody says is probably the number one route runner in the National Football League? Don't you think we should be trusting this man and asking Adams what he wants? Who do you want to catch the football from? Who gives us the best chance to move the football into the red zone and scoring opportunity situations? This man knows the answer. It was Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers, but the Raiders said we're moving on to worse things. The Raiders said we don't want to have a tough time making the playoffs and trying to potentially somehow, some way, miracle win a playoff game. We'd rather not even be a playoff contending team. And we're going to franchise tag Jacobs, lock him up, pay him $10+ million a year, ruin his chance to go out and get his next contract. Because if he goes out there and lays a dud or gets injured facing 8-man fronts all day long, guess what his opportunities look like? Nothing. If he walks out of 2023 on a dud season getting injured, his contract is not going to be even remotely the same. His job security isn't there. Adams is probably getting traded mid-season or beyond. And at that point, if you drafted him, you're probably 2 or 3 wins because you're not getting near the production you should be getting. He's got 2 or 3 touchdowns through 8-9 weeks into the season. So this is absolutely awful. Jimmy G and Davante still the best QB wide receiver duo. What in the hell is this comment right here, Logan? What in the hell is this right here? Jimmy Garoppolo and Davante still the best QB wide receiver duo. That is probably the worst take I've seen in my entire life, Logan. That has to be, we've got to have the worst take of the entire season board. And this is going to be atop the board. Let me copy this right here. Let's do that right now. Worst take of the entire season board. And this is going to be the leading candidate. Worst take, let me rewrite this. Worst take of the season board. I'll redo this and make this look really pretty and nice. But this is going to be the first comment of the year. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my entire 2023 live streaming. Let's just put this right. Let's move all this and get this out of the way. This is ridiculous. There we go. Logan, congratulations. You are atop the leaderboard. You are number 1, my man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, so I would say Jacobs, 3rd round value. Here's the problem. Here's the rub. Here's the problem. This is what I think everybody's got to be concerned about. And you're going to debate this, right? You're going to say, hey, Smitty, what about Jacobs just surviving, getting checkdowns? Maybe he does. But here's the problem. When you look at this situation and you say to yourself, actually, you know what? Let's go to the board here. Look at this right here. Look at the 4 horsemen. Before we clear this off, look at the 4 horsemen right here. Look at it. Look at it. You could draft either one of these guys, Bijan or Chase, Olave, Gibbs, Burrow, Gibbs, whatever it may be. That is just an absolute phenomenal crew. All right, let's move all these down and let's talk about where Jacobs falls. So Jacobs is going to fall in the mid-3rd round, okay? So we'll put Jacobs right here. And the question is, hey, Smitty, can he survive? Yeah. Could he get checkdowns? Yeah. Could he somehow be the benefactor? Yeah. All those things are definitely, possibilities. But who is sitting in round number 3? What players are you passing on? Sometimes Olave. Look, you draft in a ESPN league. Olave goes in 3 or 4. You draft on underdog with big boys. He goes in 2. So you could almost get Olave in some cases in round 3. You can get Joe Burrow like clockwork in round number 3. You're telling me that you're going to be hopeful that everything works out and Josh Jacobs gets checkdowns, finds the end zone. You're telling me that that's a risk worth taking when Olave, Joe Burrow, Jahmyr Gibbs, sometimes Breece Hall, even Christian Watson, who's climbing really high, those are not safer options. Every one of these options is safer. So my answer is never. When should I draft Jacobs? Never. Not in 2023, but is there a time and no. But what if there's doesn't matter. These guys are all sitting there at his ADP. So the answer is never draft Josh Jacobs in 2023. Ever. There's no scenario you can paint for me where I say you're right. Yeah, he could get this. It might work out. You go ahead and take the chance. These guys are all available there. They're all available there. D-Class, I don't know you, so bro, watch. Okay, you know what? I'm tired of Logan. Logan, it's nothing but negativity from you. You're just derailing the chat. You're gone. Okay, Jacobs, so never. As far as Adams, I'm going to say this. Similar argument here. He's going in round 2, and you might say to yourself, for a guy that is an absolute monster physically, this guy is the best receiving route runner in the best route runner in the National Football League. Just plain and simple. The fact that you could sometimes get an Olave, or you can get an Olave where Adams is. The fact that you can get sometimes, let's see, where's Breece Hall? Where's Breece Hall when you need him? Yeah, you guys, I had a lot of people tell me, oh, this person's not actually causing that much trouble. When you're sitting in here trying to rile up the chat constantly, it's okay to be different. It's okay to disagree. I love when people disagree. But I don't like when people try and create chaos and havoc all the time. So you're saying you're taking Jacobs over Watson. Who's taking Jacobs over Watson? I'd love to hear who's saying they're taking Jacobs over Watson. Another one bites the dust. CS is Travis. Brady to the Raiders. He wouldn't be dumb enough to go into that situation. There's no way. I mean, if he went in now, maybe. Like, I could see maybe, but he's not. He's gonna try and own the Raiders. I don't even know if he can actually even play for the Raiders being minority owner of the Raiders. So how's that going to even work? I don't even know if that's a possibility. We'll have to look into that. Maybe we get one of our attorneys to call in. Baked In Boys or maybe Tony the attorney can call in and talk about that. I don't know if they have details on that. Guys, this is Breece Hall, Olave, any of the three quarterbacks, any one of the three quarterbacks are better than Adams at this juncture of a draft, and then you just get your wide receiver later. So here are the questions. I'll repeat it for everybody in the back that maybe didn't hear it. Okay, here are the questions at hand. Is there ever a time to take Josh Jacobs in round 3? Never. Is there ever a time to take Adams in round 2? Never. The answer is never. There will never be not enough players available around their ADPs that are much safer. There's just no excuse for it. This is a great player. Nostalgia takes a hold, and you say to yourself, he'll find a way. No, not when you can get Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Chris Olave, Breece Hall, all of the players right here, even Gibbs here. I don't want you drafting Gibbs in the second round. My point is that Gibbs is worth more in this third round than either one of them, and he's worth more than both of them quietly. To go after Adams in anticipation he gets traded later is just a dumb strategy, because how long do you wait? How many games do you lose? Going and trading for him, maybe. We might have an entirely different live stream. Everyone needs to understand that everything's from a different perspective and angle. I might have a video 2 weeks from now, tomorrow, maybe right now in my statement that says, is there a time to trade for Adams? Absolutely. 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 Why? Because if he gets traded, it's glory. Does he get traded to a team that's a contender? Yes. Who's going to come knocking to pay the price tag of draft capital and salary that isn't a contender? So will there be a video, or can you just take what I'm saying now and apply it later, remember it, put it in your memory bank, and move forward? Please do so. At some point, trade for him. Week 5, week 6, when the Raiders look bleak, trade for him. He might get hurt, sit out. I think that's still a possibility if they don't trade him, but I think they will trade him. I think they will trade him, let's say week 5, week 6, week 7, week 8, whatever the case may be. This might be somebody to never draft. Don't go near him. I don't think they trade Jacobs. Teams don't usually trade for RBs. You never know. We could be saying the same thing about Jacobs later, but don't draft either one of them. Third round value, never. Second round value, never. Trade for him after his disgruntled owner regrets and has buyer's remorse in the second round after 1 month of football, 4 weeks of football, when that person's 1-3, 1-5, whatever the record is. You come in, you buy Adams at double or fourth round or fifth round equivalent value, somebody you drafted in round 4 or 5 that's popping off, and you trade them for Davante Adams, and then you stash him and wait. That is the move to make. Adams is still amazing. He's still one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League, arguably top 5. Will he be that at that point, some point during the season? Probably, if he gets traded. So don't draft him, swoop in, steal him week 4 or 5, win a championship. Okay, let's hit the phone lines. Phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Okay, let's go. I don't know why you were timed out. I didn't time you out, Tommy. I imagine you did something, though. I trust my mods. My mods, look, Travis, I always ask those guys never to, block anybody unless it is absolutely necessary. So he did the right thing in putting you in timeout versus blocking you or anything like that. But maybe you said something, Tommy. I don't know. You do tend to say things that, I don't know. If someone does something you don't approve of, maybe warning first. Thanks, says Tommy. Tommy, I don't know what you did, but the mod clearly thought you deserved to be put in timeout. So maybe just think about what you did. And you're back, so it doesn't matter. So why not just behave? You're back right now is a 30-second or a 100-second, 300-second timeout. Big deal, Tommy. Toughen up, get in here, be a good citizen, and start contributing, and everything will be fine. You're one of the drafted Jimmy G as your third QB in the best ball. Yeah, I timed out the other night during a live, was it a mock draft? No, it was actual best ball draft. I timed out. Very good team I was building. I loved it. I timed out, and it gave me Jimmy G, and I practically threw up in my mouth. It made me disgusted. I felt dirty. Isaac says, in ESPN Fantasy, I don't know what this reference is, but if someone's saying that somebody's a steal in ESPN Fantasy, bro, there are so many steals in ADP on ESPN Fantasy. What did I do, though? Why don't you stop asking questions about it and just move forward? You're already causing problems just by asking questions like this. Just move on, Tommy. Stop controlling the chat with your why you put in timeout. I trust my mods. I don't need to know. I trust my mods. You're back. They did the right thing. They put you in a 300-second timeout. You're back, and now you're just causing problems. Just start being a positive citizen. Ask some good questions. Be normal in here. That's all my mods are asking of you, bro. Russian Collusion says if they can get out of this Jimmy G contract, what are the odds they go after Trey Lance? Not crazy. Because the Niners the Raiders are in a bad spot. They put themselves in a bad spot. Their fan base is pretty upset. And so they definitely will be interested in maybe a Trey Lance trade, but they also are probably trying to go after Caleb Williams and get that number 1 overall pick and fight with the Cardinals for that spot. So I don't know. I mean, at what point do you say, hey, we got to appease the fan base, we got to appease everybody, go get a quarterback, or do we just take a dive, go get Caleb Williams, try and come back? And then you wonder if they would trade Adams if they expect to get Caleb. I don't know. Tough to say. But I don't know. It's a good question, Russian, and I mean, I definitely could see a trade happening, but I could also see the Raiders just wanting to take the dive. Can Brady even play through as an owner? I don't think so, but hopefully one of our attorneys, our in-house attorneys, call in, our in-house show attorneys, and handle that. Niners won't trade to the Raiders, will they? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they could. I don't see why they wouldn't trade Trey Lance to him if they don't believe in Trey Lance. Who cares if you send Trey Lance to any other team? They clearly don't believe in him. If they thought Trey Lance was so good, they wouldn't be open to moving him. So they clearly don't believe in him. So similar to Jimmy G, everybody said the Niners wouldn't trade Jimmy G to Seattle. And I said, why? It'd be like sending a Trojan horse over to the Seattle Seahawks and having him implode the entire team. It would have been a glorious move to trade Jimmy G to the Seahawks if you're a Niner fan, because it would have imploded everything. Poor Jacobs, absolutely, man. Don't draft either one of these guys, Jacobs or Adams. Instead, trade for Adams midseason. Overcome dropping a super chat. I had a super chat comment question earlier. Okay, sorry, Overcome. Let me hit that. I was probably just hitting the news hardcore and didn't see it. Overcome dropping a super chat. Honored to be a Moon Man. Yeah, Overcome is a Moonman extraordinaire. His Moonman card will be coming in the mail. These are the Marsman cards. The Moonman cards arrive today or tomorrow, and I'll be mailing that out to Overcome. He's one of the lucky 12 of Moonmen. I'm sorry. Here's his question here. Where do we go from here, and who else here in the chat has been knighted to be on the round table? We will have it's funny you say that. Round table is one of the ideas that I'm considering for how to present the Moonmen, and I think you just locked it in for me because it felt good to hear it, back instead of just in my head. But the Moonmen of the round, the round. I don't know how I'm going to phrase it yet. The Knights of the Round Table, the Moonmen, the spacemen of the Round Table, whatever. The spacemen on the solar system. We'll figure it out. But the Moonmen 12, the Marsmen 12. I'm pretty sure they're all locked in. And I wish I could unveil it a certain way, but I have so many interested in it, I can't even put it on sale. I thought maybe I could put it on sale Monday or Thursday or Tuesday, but they're already they would go like that. There's no way to even put it up for sale. Too many people are interested, too many people that have inquired. I have said reach out to me on several live streams and on Instagram and change the direction of how we're unveiling the Moonman cards and the Marsman cards because the interest was so crazy. So the cards already went. They're fast, but don't worry. Next year we won't have new cards, new Moonmen, new Marsmen. Those are locked in. There's 24. It'll never grow. It'll never change. If someone leaves or bails or quits or whatever, which is hard to imagine, then we would have another opening and we would put that up and people would compete for it or whatever. But I will do other things. You know how creative we get here on the channel. There will be other amazing opportunities, and I might even do something called the Pick'em 20 or the Pick'em 40 or the Pick'em whatever, and we will get 20 to 40 people in here that will do a Pick'em challenge every single week on wins and losses for the NFL teams, and do something amazing with the Pick'em 40 or whatever. It'll be 40 individuals that are on the Pick'em panel, and we'll literally, and you know what we'll do? We might even collectively get everybody's vote and have you guys do Underdog Fantasy high or low Pick'ems as a community, and we see if we can take down Underdog together with the 40 individuals on the panel. And maybe we have a show where all 40 of you, I give you a link and we see the votes of whether we're doing this game or that game, and you guys can go on Underdog and do Pick'ems high or lows along with the votes from you, the Pick'em 40. So don't worry, we have so many things that are going to be available to you guys if you missed out. But if there are any, it looks like Aloha. Where's Aloha? Aloha, I need you to email me right now and say, hey, this is. Where's Aloha? Aloha, call in. Call in real quick, Aloha. I'm having trouble when you email me. I don't know what it is, Aloha. Call me. Aloha, Blackbeard, Peanut Butter and Waivers, I'm waiting to hear back from. B-Man, I'm waiting to hear back from. Tristan, I'm waiting to hear back from. Pal Derby, Overcome is in. Ada, I'm waiting to hear from you. DW is in. Travis Rowe is a Moonman. And then there might be one other spot, and then we'll have to go through and figure out who's going to get that. I wish I could give it to every one of you. There will be 12 Moonmen cards and 12 Moonmen. There are 12 Marsmen, or really 11 and me, Marsmen cards. Metal card holders. These are being mailed out. I got these envelopes here to help protect it. I'm going to bubble wrap them, put these cards in the mail to each one of you. Little handwritten note, whatever I got to do to make you feel special, because you are special. You are Moonmen and Marsmen card holders. Dial it.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
I would love to hear some, not just try and be different, like some honest pushback takes on Jacobs and Adams. I would love to hear somebody call in and try and debate this, like not just a debate, to actually, like, you genuinely feel like Jacobs is worth a third round pick or Adams is worth a second round pick. I would love to hear the arguments. I don't think anybody will call in because I think most people agree, because you're logical, that there are just safer players to grab. There just are. They just are. So, Mealy, hey, Mealy, that would have been, Mealy, I didn't know if you had interest. That would have been awesome Mealy would have been the first Moon Woman. We'd have to make a separate card. We would have too. That would have been pretty good. Dakota Dave, you're live. What can I do for you, Dakota?
Well, as far as Jimmy G, the topic of the day, you mentioned him smiling, and if you remember, he was NFC Championship game. He was on the sideline smiling as his team was getting killed.
Yeah,
and his buddy and Purdy was injured, and they were down to their fourth quarterback, and he's smiling on the sideline.
Yeah,
it was disgusting. It was disgusting.
Yeah, and do you remember when Trey Lance got injured? He was smiling, and I know that some people,
I didn't remember.
Bro,
wow,
it was bad. Go YouTube Jimmy G smiling when Trey Lance injured, and some would argue that he was just excited he was going in the game, but it was like instantaneously. I believe Trey was still on the ground. Some say he went over, hugged Trey, and tried to make it right, and I get that. But if you look at him when he was away from Trey Lance, like that's something you do. That's you put on a show, you put on a face. Like when his genuine feeling when Trey went down, when they went right to him, was a look of excitement, and it was just sickening. And the fact that he smiles at the podium when doing a press conference after a loss, when he's thrown 2-3 interceptions, whatever, and he just instead of going up there, I want my quarterback to go up there and go, I need to do better. That was ridiculous. Losing, I'm out of here, and just walk off or whatever. This guy goes up like he's accepting an Oscar, and he's just got a big grin on his face. And all I hear is Jimmy changed the culture. Did he really? Like the players like him for some reason. I don't know why, because he can't play football. Not to the level that you need him to. I just don't understand. I don't understand the love for Jimmy G when people do have this support for him. The guy is an absolute. Hold on, we got a Mars man calling in. I'm so sorry, guys. This is the new thing. Mars man Wayne Solo, you jump straight to the front of the line. This is the importance of this card. He's flashing his VIP. Wayne Solo, you're live.
What's going on, Smitty?
What's up?
Oh, not much.
Just using your VIP access here. What do you got for me?
I see a lot of people, talking about drafting Adams in the second round all day. I don't think they fully understand. These guys need a quarterback, and there ain't really any quarterbacks out there to get. You're looking at Wentz, you're looking at Bridgewater, you're looking at possibly Nick Foles, but those guys aren't going to solve the issue at hand.
Yeah, I think I stand by, and I want to make it. I'll probably say this every time I talk about Adams moving forward because I want to make it abundantly clear how I feel about Adams. Tay Adams, #1 fan. Okay, this is going to be a positive comment here. I mean, I think Tay Adams will be fine without a car. Of course you do. But here's what I want to say about Adams over and over and over. Every time I mention him moving forward, trade for him mid-season. Trade for him before mid-season. Slightly before mid-season, and because you're going to be buying him at a value that will be way outside of round 2 value. So like let me give an example. So Tay Adams, #1, obviously he's a delusional Adams fan, which is fine, and we appreciate him. Adams in general in the second round all day. LOL. I love the LOL because that just makes it that much worse for you. But like looking at the way he sees it, like, okay, second round steal, whatever, which he's not. If he falls to the 4th round, guess what? Even I get back into the Adams business right now. If you take Adams, pluck him from round 2 ADP and slice him right into the round 4, guess what? Smitty is back in the Adams game. So after week 1, 2, 3, 4, and sometimes, bro, we all know this to be true. People have knee-jerk reactions as early as week 1. Literally, Adams could go out there and get 20 yards on 2 catches, drop a pass, be totally off his game, have no target, end zone targets, nothing, just have 23 yards, and people will jump ship right away. And so if Adams falls into the 4th round territory come week 4 or 5 before he's traded, I'm willing to spend a pre-draft selection on Adams in the 4th round. So I don't even care if you get in a little early on Adams at 4th round trade value mid-season or week 4, week 3. If you can get him at what I would have accepted as decent value preseason wise, then obviously I'm okay with whenever you jump into the Adams game. But buy him after a couple weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks. Don't wait too long. Don't wait till after he's traded, and you'll be sitting on an absolute monster in the making, because we love Adams. It has nothing to do with Adams, but Adams can't squeeze turnips out of his rear end. Like, what is he supposed to do? He can't fabricate a good quarterback situation. Derek Carr, as much as people didn't like him, Derek Carr was a great downfield, just laser lock on one wide receiver and force feed him targets. This guy had over 100 receptions, 14 touchdowns, and 1,300 something yards. That is an amazing amount of production. That is an amazing amount of production. I just can't. I can't wait for it, bro. I can't wait for it. I can't. When I say I can't, when I say I can't wait for it. When I say, hold on, Rick, let me clarify. When I say I can't wait for it, I can't wait for him to be traded. I can't wait for him to be traded out of there, and I'll be there for it. I'll be there to scoop him up from owners that have given up on him, that are like Tay Adams' number one fan, that grab him in the 2nd round. Now, maybe Tay Adams' number one fan, because he is the number one fan, won't trade him no matter what. So you might not get him from this guy. He'll just hold on to him. But everybody else that drafts Adams will have buyer's remorse by week 2 or 3. You'll get him for 4th round value. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to steal Adams away, who I still love. I want to make that abundantly clear. I don't love this guy, Jacobs. I'm not probably going after him no matter what. Plus, running backs getting traded midseason, not likely to happen, especially if he's looking like dog crap. But Adams looking like dog crap, everyone knows what time it is. Adams is a monster, and he's in a shitty situation, and he will get traded out. I feel pretty confident about that. And if he doesn't, you're still going to be buying him at the approved value anyway, which will be 4th or 5th round value. He will tank in value, in trade market value. He will tank. You will be able to steal him away in 3 or 4 weeks. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Wayne Solo. Then we're going to jump back to Dakota and the Patrick. Wayne, go ahead. You have the floor.
I was going to say, somebody saying in the comments that he's QB proof. We don't know that. Like you said, we've never seen him without Carr or Rodgers.
Yeah, that's
who are decent quarterbacks. Rodgers, a future Hall of Famer. We don't know if he's QB proof yet. So
yeah,
I just want to point that out.
You can't say he's QB proof. This is what I've said over and over, and you just highlighted it exactly. You've only seen him catching footballs from target quarterbacks that laser lock on their wide receiver. You can't say he's QB proof. You've never, ever seen him with a crappy quarterback. You can call Carr crappy if you want. Fantasy wise, he's not. Carr is amazing. Olave to the freaking moon. Hang on, everybody on the phone line. We got to play the Olave video. Olave's going to absolutely explode with this bad quarterback, Derek Carr.
A top 5 wide receiver hides among the people. His cost of entry is near illegal. Few see him coming. Many stay away. His name is Chris Olave.
It's going to be amazing when you can trade for Adams. Just get ready for it. Get ready for it. Understand what I'm saying. Do not draft Adams. Do you ever draft Adams this year? No. Do you ever draft Jacobs this year? Absolutely no. Big difference in trading for this man Adams midseason. Hang tight, Wayne. If you have anything, just interrupt. You are a Marsman card holder. You have the floor whenever you need it. The Patrick, you're live.
What's going on, Smee?
What's up?
Man, I should have got in on this Marsman thing. But you kind of took a little bit of my thunder for me, but then retracted it a little bit. I was ready to debate as far as where you said at the right value, you're still on board with Adams.
4th round, sure.
Right. So, like, in a redraft league, if Adams, you're saying don't draft him at all, just try to acquire him later. But if I'm sitting there in the 4th round and he falls, I mean, why wouldn't I?
But he's not going to double in the wrong direction in value. I mean, maybe this news drops him a little bit. We'll have to see. But if he's like there, and I still have to see who's available. Like, I wouldn't say he's a lock in the 4th round. I'm saying I don't necessarily think it's, when I say never, ever, ever in 2023 draft Adams at 2nd round value. I mean that. There's never a scenario because but hold on. If he falls into round 4, now I can't say that. I can't say it, but he won't.
Okay,
This is where his value will fall in the middle of the year if we're gonna try and compare it to trade value, to draft value. He'll be equivalent to a 4th round player, I believe, after like week 3, week 4, week 5. And so therefore I would trade for him even if he hasn't been traded yet. And even at the risk that maybe he doesn't get traded, because this is where I was accepting of him to be drafted. But make no mistake about it, I still wouldn't guarantee to draft him in the 4th round because there's still Burrow, Jahmyr Gibbs, and players I love. Like, what if Watson falls to round 4? I will take all of those players over Adams, even with the thought he could be traded. Now, if he gets traded, like if you know he's getting, let's say he had a crystal ball and you knew he was going to Buffalo or something like that, and you knew it was going to happen week 5, and then I wouldn't, of course I would want him over a couple of those guys if I knew that, but we don't know that. So my whole stay away from him at all costs remains in play until the 4th round, but it doesn't mean that I'm guaranteeing that I would take him there. He's just acceptable there. There are a lot of guys in round 4 that can still outperform Adams, even if Adams fell to 4th round.
Absolutely. Same here. Like, wherever I have him on my board, if I look at the 4 and there's people in front of him, even though, by all intents and purposes, Adams should be a second. Hell, even if he still had Derek Carr, he'd be my wide receiver 3 this year in regular redraft leagues. But, with all this chaos, I heard you say something earlier. I want to move to Jacobs. Did you say something that there's reports that he's coming in, overweight, looking like crap? I'm trying to see if I missed something.
I didn't say that. I think Jacobs, I don't know what Jacobs is looking like. Somebody may have referenced like he's held out. Maybe he's not working out as much because he's not with the team. I don't know if someone said that. Wouldn't shock me if he wasn't in optimal shape, but I don't know that. I'm not spreading that rumor.
Okay.
So, all I know is that he refuses to sign his franchise tag. He has until July 17 to sign it. And if he decides not to sign it, he's obligated to it. He doesn't have to actually put pen to paper. A lot of people think he does. At that point, he becomes a holdout, on a signed holdout with a franchise tag applied as his salary in contract. And once the tag is applied on July 17, there's no signing him to a long-term deal. He has to play on that the entire year. He cannot renegotiate mid-season. You're locked in. If you're franchise tagged after July 17, you are locked into that contract the entire season, no matter what. So he's holding out in hopes of getting a long-term deal before July 17, because even though he probably hates it there, he's like, I'm not going to get it. I might not get anything at the end of this 1 year if I don't get it now and play in a miserable situation. So Jacobs, like Barkley wants out too, but Barkley at this point is saying, give me my long-term deal. I'll make it work just for the money. But he's afraid too. Barkley's very afraid. Jacobs is very afraid, because these guys, if they go out and lay an egg in 2023, given how soft the running back market, the desire to bring in big name running backs, if they have failure years, Jacobs having no track record to support, okay, if he has a bad year, you're not going to say, oh, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. You'll be like, whoa, 2022 kind of came out of nowhere, and then he just laid an egg. No, thank you. Barkley, you'd be a little more apt to say, hey, I can believe in him. However, with the injury history, if he gets injured and doesn't have a good year, I think both of them are going to be royally screwed. And so that's why both of them want long-term contracts in their what they think is a crappy situation. The Giants are actually pretty decent. I don't mind that situation. Waller, I'm kind of excited, low-key excited about what the Giants could do, one game at a time. I don't think they're going to be anybody's darling, but like one game at a time, this team could cause havoc. So it'll be interesting. I think Barkley's in obviously a much better spot. Jacobs, I feel bad for Jacobs. That's why they call this the prison tag. The players behind closed doors call the franchise tag the prison tag because this guy went out there and did work. Even blew my expectations out of the water. Like, kudos. Let's give Jacobs his flowers, and I'll send him to the moon and say Jacobs did something last year that I did not expect to happen. A lot of people did not expect to happen. He earned himself a chance to go get a big deal. The Raiders stepped all over it. It's their right to do it. That's what the franchise tag is there. They're playing in the confines of the rules. But from the player's perspective, he doesn't want to be there. And they didn't respect that at all. They don't have to, but they didn't. And he said, I'll play on the franchise tag if we're reloading to win a championship. They said, yeah, we're reloading. Bring in Jimmy G before he flush him down the toilet. Come on, take a look at this before I flush it. That's what happened.
Are we blaming Josh McDaniels for the mess that has, last year you think they're on the up and ups until we hear about Carr sitting out the last couple of weeks. Is all this Josh McDaniels' fault, or who are we putting this on?
Terry says hit that like button. We only have 86 likes. We have 185 in here. I think it's a mix of everything, man. It's a mixture of the culture. It's a mixture of the ownership and how they do things and this is a garbage team, bro, organization. I'm so sorry if any of you are Raider fans out there. I feel that way about the Cardinals sometimes. They can run things in such a bad way. And Fitzgerald, Hopkins said that about upstairs. He said the upstairs, I want to play for a competent, I forget the word he used about the Cardinals brass, but he said, I want to play for, a better ownership and, a set of decision makers. And I don't blame him. I'm a Cardinal fan. I'm in Arizona, and I can at least acknowledge that I agree with him. We don't know how to put together a good team and maintain it. Put together a good coaching staff that has longevity. The Cardinals are awful. I could say it about my own team, so I feel like I'm not being mean to say that the Raiders are a pitiful organization from top to bottom. And until that changes, how do you expect things to flourish in that? Look at all the players that go to die there. Randy Moss, thank God he went to New England and showed us he still had something left. Antonio Brown, Amari Cooper felt like he failed there. And a lot of the doubts we have about Amari Cooper stem from his time in as a Raider. Derek Carr is thought of as a bad quarterback by the entire world because he went there and failed. But he did great things when he was there with what he was handed. He was handed one of the worst defenses in the National Football League in every statistical category, and he still marched down the field and fed Davante Adams to the tune of 1,300 plus yards, 100 receptions, and 14 touchdowns, something Adams won't sniff. He won't even scratch an itch near that territory. He can't even get close. I would be shocked if Adams had more than 4 touchdowns if Jimmy's the quarterback all year. I honestly believe that. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. But the good news is Jimmy won't stay healthy. Jimmy can't play 6 games. I'd be shocked if Jimmy even hit the field, and if he did play 6 games, I'd be shocked. So do they bring in Wentz?
Yeah, but they have 0 option B right now.
Wentz? Do they bring in Wentz? At least Wentz could throw the ball a little bit downfield. Does that help Davante Adams? Maybe, but guess what happens here? This is why you can't look at these what-ifs and what-if, and when you're talking about second-round value, why are you risking it on all these ifs? Why are you, not saying you are, but anybody that's saying, but what if Wentz comes in? What if he's Adams? What if he just does good? What if he gets traded mid-season? Those are all why you're trading for him after week 2, 3, 4. If Jimmy Garoppolo, the snake of a man that he is, ends up passing his physical, and does anybody in here think that Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to pass his physical just in the nick of time? That's such a Jimmy move to do. He inconveniences everybody, hides his injury in San Francisco, comes in, shocks the Raiders. They don't know what hit him. They're like, now we got to rework your contract, you idiot. They rework his contract, take away his signing bonus, put it in the salary, and they can cut him at any moment relating to his foot. And so you have Jimmy Garoppolo, who they're going to be obligated to pay $22+ million the moment he passes his physical. Do you think they're going to go the way of Wentz early on? No. If Jimmy passes his physical and is guaranteed $22 million, they're going to roll with that no matter what, just because they paid the money and he's going to fail for a while. So Adams won't be good for a while, and so therefore he's a good trade opportunity week 3, week 4, week 5. That's what I'm saying.
No, I pretty much completely agree with everything. And it's a shame the roller coaster that the Raiders have been on. And me and their head coach now, Josh McDaniels, we're from the same hometown, went to the same high school. So I hate to see it for the Raiders faithful. But that's all I got for now, Smitty.
Okay, you can hang on hold if you want, or you can drop off or call back, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Wayne. Go ahead, what?
Oh, I said I'll be here in case Ron Navy pisses me off.
Okay. Mars Man, Wayne Solo, you're still here. Do you have anything you want to add to this conversation or anything else?
I just want to go back and emphasize on Jimmy G. Look, he played 11 games, and we already know what the eye test is. We've seen the eye test. We know what he is versus Derek Carr. But if we want to dive into the stats, Jimmy G is 33rd in air yards per game, 192. Derek Carr was top 5 in that category, over 300 air yards per game. We look at his accuracy rating; it's terrible. I mean, Carr's isn't the greatest either, but
you know what's crazy?
Jimmy G.
You know what's crazy about Carr's accuracy? What's crazy about Carr negativity? What's crazy about Carr everything is that Carr, is being judged in an environment that no one's fairly judged in. Like Carr's going to go into New Orleans and prove that he's better in all those things people think he's bad at. So we'll see what Carr really is. We got a Mars man calling in named Ron Navy, jumping straight to the top of the line. Ron, what do you have?
Hey, I heard my name being used, so I figured I might as well just call in and do a little pissing off.
Yeah. So, was that you want to piss off Wayne Solo? Was that who you want to piss off? No, the Patrick. You wouldn't piss off another fellow Mars man. Yeah, the Patrick. You wouldn't piss off a fellow Mars man. Okay, we're all going to Mars together. Yeah. Okay, Patrick, do you want to say anything to Ron Navy that might irk Ron Navy? Ron Navy, you want to say anything that might irk the Patrick? Anybody want to start off?
Oh, okay, you're finishing last in your division, bud.
Woo.
Love you, buddy.
Woo! Steelers finishing last in the division. Ron.
No, that all goes to the Browns. They're used to finishing in the toilet. So yeah,
they are the color of poop.
Still love you.
Okay, so you're saying Kenny Pickett is better than Deshaun Watson? Because ultimately, that's the most. Really?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because Kenny Pickett ain't out getting weird massages from women. And
hey, can we talk about on the field? Because that's a whole political conversation. Let's talk about on the field.
Political.
One that brought up all this felony stuff. And how many charges did Watson have against him?
Political.
More than
criminal charges? Zero. Criminal charges? Zero.
Hey, real quickly, can I don't mean to piss both of you off, but you, the two best quarterbacks in the division, I don't know. Ron, you probably agree with this, that they are Burrow and Lamar. But Pickett proves.
And who, Lamar who? What has Lamar done lately, Smitty?
Maybe Pickett. Well, Pickett hasn't. Pickett's still in prove-it mode.
Say that he's the best. He's had one MVP
He's
season.
second. And
he hasn't proven anything yet. So Lamar's not even in the conversation.
Not in the conversation. Ron, wait, hold on. Let me get this straight, Ron. Lamar's not even in the conversation with Pickett?
Oh, Pickett's going to outperform him.
Wait now.
It's hurt this year.
Ron, new board bet between me and you. Loser has to draw a deuce in a marker on their forehead during a show, during a segment. Okay, draw a poop emoji on your forehead and wear it for at least 15 minutes during a show, live on the show. That means you have to call in on video, and we got to have you sit in the corner. And if I lose, I'll sit in the corner while all of you talk for we'll do 5 straight. We'll do 5 minutes. 5 straight minutes Someone has to sit in the corner without saying a word, just on video, just sitting there looking like a deuce with a deuce on their forehead. Lamar versus Pickett. Total points. Week 17. We'll use the voicemail league just to keep it all consistent in that league. You want to do it?
Don't take it, Ron.
No, because Pickett's not going to have to run like Lamar's going to run, so Lamar will get more points.
It don't matter. Production is production.
No, it's not. It's already proven.
Look, I'll put it like this. As an unbiased fan, hold on 1 second and I'll shut up, Ron, please. As an unbiased fan, I'm a Browns fan, you're a Steelers fan, we hate it. Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in our division. No questions asked.
No question.
There's a lot of question marks about the other three. Because I have questions about Lamar, too. And I came in here 2 shows ago, like 2 days ago, and defended Deshaun Watson. But for me to say there ain't question marks surrounding them, that would be asinine.
I think the Patrick is 100% unbiased with that statement because the truth is, even for me with Lamar, you guys know how much I question Lamar. There are question marks every single one of these quarterbacks for sure. And Ron, Pickett is on the rise above those question marks. No one's saying he doesn't have upside. Lamar, I will say this. Lamar had a bad PCL injury, and the risk I would be taking on doing that bet, which Ron rejected anyway, but the risk I would be taking with that bet is that his knee wouldn't hold up because he almost needed surgery. He was borderline 2-3 grade PCL tear, which is on the back or in the middle of the knee, but you can see it on the back of this model. The ACL and the PCL cross across each other. They both create it so that the knee won't go one way or the other off that shelf and just fall off so it keeps it tight. And that PCL was a 2/3 grade. 3 means surgery. 3 means it's either torn completely or it's so loose and floppy that it doesn't do anything. It's too long now. So it's just like a stretched out rubber band and doesn't help. So he was 2/3. He may still even need surgery, and they're like, you borderline need it. So his knee might be a little like looser, which is more susceptible to a tear because it's not held tightly together. So cartilage tear, ACL tear. So Lamar does have some injury risk walking into the season. I'm going to say that right now. That PCL is not 100%.
I'm not going to make that bet with you, Smitty, because
I don't blame you.
We have Lamar in our voicemail, and so I need Lamar to hopefully do good.
Okay.
I'm hoping that he does good, but I can't count on it until I actually see it. I got to see it.
All right.
But I mean, I have both Pickett and Lamar,
and
so
I'm rooting for Pickett.
Both do good.
And I'm rooting
as far as Burrow goes. I mean, he did really good against the Steelers last year on his back 4 times in one game. And the other game we played Cincinnati, they only won by a field goal at the end of the game. So I mean, there you go. Everybody wants to say the Steelers aren't competitive, but the whole AFC North is competitive. Not one team swept another team in the AFC North last night.
Yeah,
the Browns didn't get swept. The Browns didn't get swept. Baltimore didn't get swept. None of them got swept. They all split. Every single one of them.
Roethlisberger, Watson, who's grimier off the field? I don't know. I don't want to get the Patrick worked up, but the Patrick is correct in that there were no criminal charges filed against Watson, but the police departments said, and you could say the police departments are corrupt and all that, I get that, but the police departments and the DA had talked about that it wasn't a matter of whether he was guilty or not. It was whether there were certain question marks that would be hard to win in front of a jury because of the ways that these things go and the evidence that couldn't be submitted. Whether we don't know why it could have been mishandling of whatever.
They didn't have enough to indict him. Yeah.
Right, but Watson. The Patrick. Hey guys, keep it clean on here too. Don't go into details. I'm dancing around the verbiage. But keep in mind that he admitted to pretty much all of what people have said he's done, but just to a consensual degree. That's where the argument is. But and I agree, there are probably so many of these cases that were urged by that attorney that was going after Watson that maybe there's a lot of fabrication going on. And I think that's part of the problem, is that there were a mix of truth and a mix of fabrication across all of the different claims. and that made it really hard to actually go after him because there's so many proven. Like, this attorney probably screwed the pooch on the criminal charges because he was like literally trying to just get everybody who had ever, partaken in a massage with Deshaun to go against him. And so it put the credibility of any of the people that might have been potentially telling the truth, their claim in jeopardy. But there was some craziness that went on that he fully admitted to doing. And it's like, so, you could say that maybe he didn't commit a criminal act. We don't know, but it was some shady stuff, bro. It was some shady stuff.
Smitty, when you say keep it clean, what did I say wrong?
No. None of you said anything yet. I was prefacing.
He was just giving us
Okay. I didn't know if I said something you didn't like.
Because some people will then say he did this, and I don't want that. I want to dance around.
I'm not Matt Biaggi, homie. We're all good.
Yeah, Matt Biaggi.
The world only exists in the AFC North. That's true. And here's the thing: is all of these. There's so many players, and they get away with everything. They pretty much They get away with everything. The only thing that they can't get away with is gambling. I swear. They could go out, kill somebody, get away with it. They could beat somebody almost to death and get away with it. They could do all this stuff, but Lord forbid they get caught gambling, and that's pretty much the end of their career.
The NFL is just ridiculous. I mean, honestly, the fact that, I get that the rules are the rules, and Jameson Williams probably knew this, and he didn't go off facilities and dropped a, men's volleyball bet or something, whatever he bet on, probably basketball. But the fact that there's a 6-game suspension waiting for somebody that breaks and violates that rule, but there's no action taken by the NFL in Kamara's case or in, any of these cases, it's ridiculous. The NFL is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Let's go over. Let's go home.
Here's what I'll say to Patrick is hopefully Deshaun Watson will be more informed this year so we can hopefully put that stuff behind him and we can be competitive.
Can we discuss this right here? Isaac dropped a $5 hauler. Appreciate you, Isaac. Said Kenny Pickett fumbled the playbook the other day, had his car stolen with the playbook inside. Luckily, the police recovered it. Ron, this was a...
He went in for a radio interview. He was up there for about an hour doing the radio interview, and some 66-year-old guy, I think it was, stole his car, and then the police found it because they got called for a domestic incident at the guy's home, and that's where they found the car, and the playbook was still inside it. The guy didn't even realize the playbook was there, so he got his car and the playbook back, thank God.
Yeah, but you know what I would be doing if this was me, though? If this was me and I'm the head coach, I got to change everything. You can't trust that the playbook didn't get out. I mean, that's an inconvenience. This has happened before in the NFL. This is like the worst thing you could do where your coaching staff is so pissed off. But you got to change stuff. You can't just let it go. What if he did? What if he did? He says he didn't know it was there, but what if he sold it? What if he took pictures?
Come on.
What do you mean? Come on.
The guy probably didn't even know it was Kenny's car. He just saw it was unlocked and took it. And then he's got issues. And 66 years old. Come on.
I don't know.
The guy's probably hopped up on.
I bet you anything they had to make some changes. I don't think you just say, well.
At least their terminology.
Yeah,
at least the terminology.
But hey, that's messy though. If you have to change terminology, that screws up everything. That puts
agreed. It's a headache no matter which way. But you're right. They have to do some type of risk management.
They have to, Ron. They have to. If you were to let that ride, even if there's a really high.
I'm not debating that.
Yeah.
I'm not debating that. You go in and you change the names on some of the play, but they got plenty of time to do that. So it's. It's a lesson learned.
Yeah.
It's no different than having Belichick do Spygate on you, when you're doing practices. So, you got to change stuff up, too, in case you got a Belichick camera somewhere.
But that is Luke says the Steelers only have 5 plays anyway.
Luke wishes. Luke wishes.
And none of them involve Deontay Johnson in the end zone.
Hey, and 100% is a little offended, Ron.
Deontay can't catch the ball. He's got. I'll agree with you there, Patrick. Deontay's got a problem with his hands.
Hey,
See,
Ron.
I like Deontay.
Ron.
I actually like him. I just can't. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
100% Pure Mustard has a problem with your comment. He says, come on, bro. 66 ain't that old. So clearly this man's offended by that. But he's right, Ron. Like, just because he's 66 doesn't mean he's incapable of doing anything at all to the playbook or selling it or understanding it. I don't know. What if this is like a targeted situation, where it's like they paid this man.
Hey, Smitty, I'm just taking your take on it. You're the ageist in this group. So I'm just taking your take on it and going with,
only when it's RBs.
Old guy.
Only when it's RBs, bro. Okay. Well, if I had to say, I think the Steelers are a real good chance at a wild card spot. I know that makes Ron really mad to hear that when I'm saying something positive, but all he hears is that I just said they can't win the AFC North. But I think 90% of the population is going to say the Bengals win the division.
That's fine. They always say 90% of the population always. Old boy on Good Morning Football, he's like, hey, everybody's counting the Steelers out. Don't discount the Steelers. The Steelers just, and I love it because the more the Steelers get discounted, that's when they play their best, and that's when they do their best.
I still think
when they usually go to the Super
I still
Bowl.
think you got a great defense, but people are improving, across the board. Like the Ravens have improved their pass catching room, which is what was needed. The JK's a year healthier.
You hope.
The Bengals improved their offensive line. Who knows? What if they get Hopkins, bro? Oh, if they get Hopkins, that's a wrap.
They're not going to get Hopkins.
You never know. You'd be dumb not to. You'd be dumb not to.
They lost.
You'd be dumb not to.
Some on the defense, so
Yeah, they'd be dumb
Bengals,
not
you
to.
don't mention that. You don't mention the two big guys back in the backfield there in the defense that they lost to free agency. You don't mention that. You only mention Burrow.
I'm sorry, you're cutting out,
They
Ron.
need the defense,
We
too.
can't hear you, Ron.
Yeah, I'm sure I am. Oh yeah, cutting out on a Mars, man. I see how it is.
Mars is far away. The reception's bad. Ravens win the division. Hot take, says Tommy. Tommy, at least you're back to positive. I appreciate that. I don't mind the hot take. I think the Bengals do win the division, but honestly, I mean, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Bengals
If Hopkins were to go to the Steelers, Smitty would be like saying Hopkins is the worst receiver in the NFL.
You act like I'm
Bills,
incapable of. I'm totally capable of being unbiased. I can 100% come in and say. What I will say though is that isn't probably the best location for his production. I mean, that's just that. I mean, Pickett can only do so much, and you got Deontay, who I don't like, but you got Freiermuth. Deontay's still getting targets.
Pickett in his last 8 games, he was the 8th overall in quarterback rating out of all the quarterbacks in his last 8 games.
But I think he had one of the. But you could say his first 4 or 5 games was the worst quarterback rating in the history of the NFL. I think it was.
His what?
His first 4 or 5 games.
He's just gotten in there, learning the system.
Well, I'm just saying.
By the end of the
we're
year,
gonna play.
he won
We're gonna
6
play
out of his
halvesies.
last 8.
We're gonna play halvesies on the stats. I'm just saying. But you can't,
Well,
Ron. You can't,
though,
Ron. You can't say with a straight face though that you think Hopkins does better in Pittsburgh than he does, let's say, in KC or Buffalo or Cincinnati, in terms of production.
How do you know? You don't know that.
I don't know it, but I have a pretty good guess.
And you say you're not biased.
That, Ron, that's not not bias. That's logic. That's logic, bro.
You had last year when the Steelers were playing Baltimore in next to the last game, and Pickett threw that game-winning touchdown to Najee Harris. You had Chris Collinsworth saying, if that was Patrick Mahomes, we'd be putting him in the Hall of Fame right now. That was a Patrick Mahomes type of play. But it's Kenny Pickett, so
what's that have to do? What's that have to do with anything?
For it.
What's that have to do with anything? Ron, if Burrow got Hopkins or Josh Allen got Hopkins or Mahomes got Hopkins, he would absolutely crush. If he got Pickett, he's not going to be as good. That's not bias. That's not bias. Let's go around the phone line.
I'm with Smitty on this one.
Ron, it's not close.
Take Deontay out, you put Hopkins in, and he's already going to make Pickens great. So there you go.
It's not close, Ron. But I do like Pickett more if he gets Hopkins.
I'm keeping all these receipts, Smitty. I'm keeping all these receipts, and you ain't going to be able to shut me up when everybody's got to eat their words at the
First
end
of
of
all,
the year.
Hopkins isn't going to Pittsburgh, so how are you going to keep this receipt? What's this receipt going to do? This receipt ain't going to go anywhere.
I'm keeping the receipts of everything that you're talking about the Steelers as far as, maybe they'll get a wild card. But when they win the division, you'll be eating your words.
But how is that a receipt? How is that a receipt? Okay, if they win the division, like the funny part is, I said I think the Steelers could definitely grab a wild card spot, and it becomes a negative on the Steelers.
You did.
Yeah, it's not a negative. That's a positive. That's a positive comment.
They're going to be better.
Well, that we'll see. But Pickett, there's this. Let's ask Alex Cruz. Alex Cruz is on the line. He's the longest. Him and Silver. I don't know if anybody Vag, email me, Veda, email me real quick, okay? I don't know if I got your address for the Marsman card, Veda. Can you please email me? You may have sent it to me, but can you send me your address one more time in an email? Thank you, Veda. Alex Cruz and Silver are probably the longest time followers or viewers of the show that I have. Alex is, if Hopkins goes to the Steelers, does he even come close to the same production than if he was to go to the Bills, the Chiefs, or the Bengals?
Maybe his floor, but definitely not his ceiling. It wouldn't be anywhere close to what he could do with, those teams.
I can get behind that statement. What about
his floor? Would be good because you'd get targets and who else is going to catch the ball in Pittsburgh besides him if you could?
Well, I think Pickens is going to have a good. I hope he doesn't go there for Pickens' sake, but he won't. He's not going to the Steelers. He hasn't mentioned the Steelers. What was funny is when he mentioned his favorite teams in order, DeAndre Hopkins. He said Josh Allen. He said Josh Allen. He said quarterbacks. He wasn't even talking teams. He said, who do you want thrown to the football to you? He said, in order, I want Josh Allen. This is his order. Josh Allen, Hurts, Lamar. Who was the fourth one? It was it was Josh Allen, Hurts, Mahomes, Mahomes, Lamar.
He would love to play with Lamar.
Yeah, I said that one. So it was Mahomes. So it was Josh Allen, Hurts, Mahomes, Lamar, Herbert. Herbert was the last one, but it was Mahomes third, and so he couldn't even remember Herbert's name. They're like, and he's like that guy down in San Diego. The guy, what's his name? They're like Justin Herbert. He's like, yeah, he didn't even know his name, but yeah. So he has no intention of going to Pittsburgh or anything like that.
I agree. I don't think they're not. I don't know. That wouldn't be a good spot. No. I came in to say that
nobody really knows how he's going to play either. How's he going to play?
Why I said he could have a good floor. Like, he could be a decent wide receiver, but it's not going to be as good.
I don't want him. Yeah.
That's the nice way of saying it.
He's trying to be nice. He's trying to be nice, Ron.
He's old.
So, I can't wait for Pickett to play well for Ron though. It'll warm Ron's heart. It'll be Ron's victory above all victories if Pickett's.
What do you mean? He's already started his great play. He started it at the end of last year, his last 8 games.
Okay.
He's just going to be better this year.
Good. That's good. I just came in to say, thank you for loving Olave so much. It warms my heart.
Yeah. Hey, let me play this for you.
Awesome.
Let me play this for you. Here you go.
A top 5 wide receiver hides among the people. His cost of entry is near illegal. Few see him coming. Many stay away. His name is Chris Olave.
going to have a glorious year. Top 5 wide receiver. I'd take him every single time over Davante Adams in round 2. He's one of the main reasons you would never, ever, ever take Adams in round 2 because Olave's sitting there. And you know what's crazy? I see all these out of touch fantasy people out there that are they're taking him in like the 4th round in an ESPN mock draft, and they put their little graphics up. I see it all the time on Instagram, and it's like, here's where we took Olave in the 4th round. And then you read the comments of these poor followers of these channels and content creators, because they don't even know. They have no idea Olave's nowhere near the 4th round. If you could get Olave in the 4th round in a legitimate draft with people that have their heads screwed on straight, you're cleaning up and smashing. Not to mention, you never let him fall to round 4 because you'd have no idea he'd fall there. So you'd take him in the 3rd round thinking you got a steal. But it's crazy that people are shocked that have been out of football for so long, for months. They come in and they're like, Olave, Smitty, you have Olave in the 2nd round? Are you crazy? Just insane that these people out there creating content about Olave in the 4th round as if that's even a reality. He's nowhere near the 4th round. And if you
It's because it makes sense though, because it's not a big market. They don't have a superstar quarterback, and he's not a guy who's been a superstar for like a few years, So,
but his
it makes sense.
But his ADP's in the 2nd round though. That's what I'm saying. In ESPN mock drafts that has crappy data, he's not, and so people don't know that. But once you get into a live draft, there, Olave's. I mean, if ESPN does have him sitting in the 4th round come August, I'm gonna move all my leagues to ESPN, draft there, then switch it back over to whatever platform. Because good Lord, if you can get Olave in the 4th round,
Hey,
crazy.
So in OTA, they said that like the first couple of days that Carr was really they were connecting well. Basically, they're gaining trust, and he made a whole bunch of good throws to him, and they connected a lot in the first couple of days of OTA. So
yeah. Sean, a lot of people, or not a lot of people, I'd say like you, Garrett, and maybe one other person. That's a lot, though. Have said that Michael Thomas will come back 100% and finish top 10. I forget if Alex has that type of love for Michael Thomas or not. He's a big Saints fan, but Michael Thomas can't hold Olave's jockstrap at this point.
Oh, no, we had a discussion about this. I remember vividly.
I forget.
If Michael Thomas is healthy this year, he will be a wide receiver 1 on that team. Now, will he stay healthy? Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. No, thanks. I got Michael Thomas in a dynasty league. I can't get rid of him for a handshake. I literally can't. Nobody will take him. Nobody wants him. I know it's dynasty, but I'm just saying, he is on the garbage radar. There's not much value. I wouldn't start Michael Thomas even right now, knowing let's say he was healthy, which he's not, by the way. They said they don't know if he'll be healthy for week 1. But if we were told he was healthy, I don't think I would start him in any league, in any shape or form ever. He would not be a starter for me. I would have somebody else that I'd feel more confident about than Michael Thomas. He's not even a wide receiver 3.
Right? He's got to prove it, right? That's fair. Because he's got to prove that he's going to, stay healthy. Because he can be healthy at the beginning of the season, but he's got to stay healthy, right?
Yeah.
And he's got to prove it, which is fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I love my Buckeyes, but Michael Thomas is done.
Yeah. His injuries are just too lengthy. There's no way. There's no way.
All lower body injuries, too. Hard to play on all those ankles and toes.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna boot you off the line here one at a time. Let's go to the Patrick. Final 10 seconds. I may go live again later tonight if there's any breaking news, or I may drop some sort of premiere. But the Patrick, your final thoughts, bro.
Kenny, I'm sorry, this ain't necessarily directed right at Ron Navy, but Kenny Pickett ain't even in the top 20 quarterbacks in the league, inside of fantasy or outside of fantasy. He's just not, man. He's a good, feel-good story because he's a hometown boy, but that's it. That's all I got, Smitty.
Okay.
Always a pleasure.
That probably burned pretty bad. Ron had to set the phone down, I think. All right. Thank you, Patrick. Ron, I'll let you respond at the end. Alex Cruz, final 10 seconds.
No, man, I'm just looking forward to this season, man. Thank you for banging the drum on Olave so much.
Yeah, man.
It'll pay off.
Get ready for the Olave season. It starts right now, pal. All right. Later, Alex. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. Marsman Wayne Solo. Marsman Wayne Solo. Final thoughts, bro.
Yeah, I agree. I agree about what they're saying about Pickett. He's going to improve, but we're talking fantasy. Yeah, he's not. He's a QB2 for the most part. And as far as Carr goes, in the Jimmy G stuff, Carr, Olave's filling in basically for Davante Adams this year. Now he's going to be through the roof. And going back to Davante Adams, man, he's going to be tough, and we're just going to have to see what happens. But I'm looking, the trade for him like midway through the season.
Garrett Wilson and Olave both are top 6 wide receivers to me, and I struggle with who's going to finish over the other. I think Garrett Wilson could literally be the 3rd wide receiver in the National Football League, but I think Olave could as well. I really do. So which one do you like better, Garrett Wilson or Olave, or is it kind of equal? I love both of them. I love both of them.
I have Garrett Wilson as a top 3 receiver in fantasy.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I think Olave's a little lower, but yeah, Garrett Wilson for sure.
Garrett Wilson is higher.
It's going to be.
Yeah, he has higher cost of entry.
They're both going to be good.
Yeah, higher cost of entry. So you could argue Olave in the second's better than Garrett Wilson at the bottom of the first, but just in general, I think they're both very, very close. So good question, JSC. All right, Marsman Wayne Solo, appreciate you. We might have to separate you and Ron on the shuttle over to Mars until he gets over your comment, but we appreciate you calling in. Later, pal.
All righty, yeah, we'll catch you later.
All right, Ron. It's all you. Marsman Ron.
Oh, it's my turn?
Marsman Ron.
These jabronis are making me laugh. For one thing is, last year was Kenny. He didn't even play the whole year, right? So, he played basically, half the season. He's a rookie. He's just learning the system. Give that guy a break. And if you actually really watched him, like I said, in his last 8 games, which I know you all aren't watching him, you just don't.
I watch every game.
Being objective.
I watch every game.
Being objective on him. Let me finish. Maybe I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the 2 other jabronis that made their comments.
Gotcha.
So I guarantee you didn't watch him closely. You did not look at his the way he progressed throughout the year. And so I understand that. Now they got him a brand new, nice offensive line, and they got him set up for success, and that's where he's going to go. So I'll be the last one. All I know is that comments really don't hurt me because I know in the end I'll be the last one laughing.
Yeah, so in fantasy, though, and I'm not trying to push back at all. I agree that he's going to improve. I really think he can improve. I like Pickett. I don't love Pickett. He's not a top 10 quarterback to me or anything like that. He's not going to be a top 12 fantasy starter. I agree with those takes, but could he be one of those guys that's your QB2, your main QB goes down, you play him, and he just has some good games? Sure. But he did score.
Nobody thought Tom Brady was going to be a Hall of Famer, 7-time Super Bowl champion either.
But he did
score. They took him in the 6th round. Nobody saw that coming.
Fantasy production.
Everybody said Joe Montana was too small to play.
Fantasy production.
All these quarterbacks that everybody are so down on that said won't amount to nothing have been the greatest quarterbacks to come out. So, you say not top 12 fantasy. I say you're going to eat your words.
Well, he only was a QB 12 or above one time during the entire season last year. So he was
his rookie year.
Well, I know, but you said he finished so strong.
And they're going to open the offense up to him. What do you think? They're going to just run the same?
No, but I think I have an argument to say, the it's more of an uphill road than downhill road for him to get into the top 12 because he had 12.9 fantasy points.
Wasn't it an uphill road for Hurts? Sure it was. Everybody doubted Hurts.
And Ron, that's why That's why the eye test is phenomenal. You get to say, my eye test, my gut says that regardless of what we've seen, he'll be a monster. And that's why we love that. But I would just say here, 12.9 fantasy points in week 18, 10.9 in week 17, 13.6 in week 16. Didn't play week 15. Week 14, 1.6. He got hurt there, I guess, and didn't play week 15. 13 points the week prior, 12 points the week prior.
Yes, got a concussion.
16 points the week prior. And then his best game was in the week 10, like near the middle of the season. It was 19 points. I'm just saying, like, the finish didn't exactly, blow me away. I mean, the finish didn't, but I do think that he did have one touchdown in all of his last 3 games passing. That was good. That was good to see. He also had, he didn't have a rushing touchdown. So it was nice to see him throwing a touchdown pass in each of the last 3 games. There's definitely improvement there, and we'll see what happens. But I don't think he'll be top 12.
You did not watch the games, Smitty.
I did watch the games. I watch every game.
No, you did. No,
Okay.
you don't. You watch
Okay.
parts of games.
No,
you didn't watch the whole game.
I watch.
Because you don't have time to watch all the games. You're not going to spend the time watching a whole Pittsburgh Steelers game.
I watch almost every play. There might have been a couple plays I didn't see, sure, but I pretty much watch every play.
Come on, it's hard to believe that you're going to watch every play.
You could do split screens, Ron. It's not that I'm flipping from one game to the other. Haven't you ever watched all the games at once?
Yeah, I have.
So you have them all on the screen at once. You can watch every single. You can watch every.
If you watch Red Zone, you're gonna miss a lot of.
I haven't been watching. I haven't been watching just the Red Zone lately. I did start to watch that when it first came out for a couple of years. I do love the Red Zone. I do have it, and I do sometimes replay the entire Red Zone while I'm working. That way, I do get to see it all. Because I do like the you got to understand, I do a lot of repeating of games too. Like I let things play while I'm working and I rewatch everything.
Yeah.
But I don't feel as impressed with Pickett as you do. But it doesn't mean I'm right, Ron.
If you were to tell me that you watch 100% of the Bengals games, I would believe you in a second. But Steelers game, I'm not. That's not passing the smell test.
Well, I like I said, I don't think I've watched every single play, like because I'll look away. But I do have all of the games on, and sometimes we'll go like on a Zoom call, and I'll miss some carries or plays there or something like that. But past that, I mean, I'm literally watching all the games. All right, Ron, appreciate you. And I look, stick to your guns on your Pickett. I just don't think he's. I don't think he's top 12.
Always gonna stick to my guns. I'm never gonna take anything. People are going to say what they say, and it's all right. It's fine, but I'll still stick to my guns, and I'll still say my beliefs. So there we go.
All right, Ron, appreciate you, my man.
Don't gotta... All right, later.
Moon Man Mars.
Hey, Smitty, check your IG when you get a chance.
Okay. Ron,
right.
The Mars Man extraordinaire. Ron is I guess technically I'd be the first card holder. But Ron is the first, outside of me, first card holder. So Mars Man Ron. Hold on, we got a Mars Man calling in. Mars Man rock out. Mars Man rock out. One of the 12. One of the 12.
We think it between Hal and Pickett.
Howell. Got him. I'm glad Ron's off the line right now. Howell. I love Howell. But hey, in Ron's defense, I have no argument better than Ron's to say Howell is going to do that. That's just all eye test, which is what I said to Ron. I said, Ron, no one can take away your gut instinct or your eye test. And if your eye test or gut instinct without any statistical data suggests that, Pickett's going to be top 12, then trust your gut. He's got a lot of risk. He could totally bust and be nothing. But I feel that Howell has the best chance to become rags to riches, and he could be a top, 11 to 15 quarterback in the National Football League. He doesn't mean he will be. There's probably more risk with him than Pickett, but I love Howell. I just feel like Sam Howell is going to be. He feels like he could be something special. Feels like he could be something really special.
I believe that too.
I believe he can fly. I think they are going to let him fly.
Got more weapons too.
That is the man on the phone. That's the man's voice on the phone. Rock out. How does it feel to hear yourself singing on my channel? Let's press the button one more time.
You raise me up so I can stand on mountains.
What's it feel like? What's it feel like to hear yourself just blasting in glory?
Appreciate it. Sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds real good. Someone says Howell may not start. I mean, that's why there's a lot of risk to it. That's what I was saying. Like, he's not somebody you bank on. He's not someone you bank on at all. He's somebody you grab immediately, and he's a rags to riches, type of player. He's your third quarterback that may allow you to trade your second quarterback away. He's a rising star. Mealy, not all the time do quarterbacks like that. Is it really clear when they break out? Like Dak and Russell Wilson were both on my bold predictions list the year they broke out, and everyone's like, what in the hell are these guys doing on there? Who the hell is Dak Prescott? Literally, who the hell is Dak Prescott is what I got on a lot of my Dak Prescott bold predictions. And now Dak was never the best quarterback ever, but it was somebody that came out of nowhere. And the same thing with Russell Wilson. Who the hell is Russell Wilson? And the quarterbacks are definitely a wheelhouse of mine where I can miss, but that's the point of it. You're striking out sometimes, but you're not just swinging and throwing mud at the wall. Howell has the makings of a potential guy that could be that guy. He truly does. I mean, he only got one start last year. Which team is he on? Washington? Yeah, he's the Washington Commanders' potential starting quarterback. Probably is the starting quarterback. They've only opened up in semantics the job, but it's him. He started. His staff talks so highly of him. Ran for a touchdown, a gritty touchdown run where he carried people in the end zone. It was amazing. I think it was like a 13-yard touchdown run. He had 35 yards rushing on the ground during his one start last year against the Dallas Cowboys, and he threw for a touchdown pass, connected with McLaurin and Dotson all over the field, threw a touchdown, threw an interception, ran for a touchdown, had 2 touchdowns and 1 interception in his first start. But already Sam Howell has he has the franchise record for an air yard pass. He's got the biggest cannon the Washington Commanders have ever had under center. So that alone is exciting. The number 1 air yard pass in the history of the franchise belongs to Sam Howell. He started 1 game against the Dallas Cowboys. All right, rock out any final thoughts. I'm going to call it right here, and then I'm going to probably be back with another breaking news live stream if anything breaks, or I will be dropping some sort of premiere or something later. But I appreciate you. Anything else?
And then one more point, and he don't even have to uplift the receivers, like the talent army around him, to just be a manager basically, and then improve from there.
What was this about? Oh, the Washington Commanders?
I said Sam Howell doesn't even have to be the hero.
Yeah, well, yeah, he does. I mean, this is one of the most underrated, not talked about wide receiver rooms in the NFL. I mean, Dotson and McLaurin, you could argue, is a top 7 wide receiver room in the National Football League. I mean, they're good. That's a good combination.
They still got Samuels too.
Curtis Samuel. All right, rock out. Mars man extraordinaire. Appreciate you.
Yeah, can't wait to get that card in the mail.
Yep, they'll go out Monday or Tuesday. I was going to send them Monday, but I feel like I want to put some bubble wrap all around the cards on top of putting them in here just to keep them protected. So hang tight. I appreciate you. Later, pal.
All right, see ya.
All right, I'm out of here. Appreciate you all. I will see you all potentially again tonight, or there'll be some premiere or something. And there'll be something tomorrow, premiere tomorrow. Go out there and draft the Wolfpack. Go out there and draft the 4 Horsemen. Go get it.
The 4 Horsemen. Drafting Chase in round 1. Hall in 2. Burrow in 3, London in 4, try Gibbs in 3, Burrow in 4, Wilson in 2, no problem. Combinations of these monsters will give your league mates nightmares, especially Bijan 1, Alavi 2, Burrow 3, and Gibbs 4. Don't lie. You just made an oopsie in your pants, didn't you? Ride for horses at the same time, the 4 horsemen.
Deuces, everybody. Appreciate you. I said that at the same time as Hod. Later. I think maybe Hod, we were both thinking deuces because somebody made an oopsie in their pants when they saw the 4 horsemen. Get burrowed, says Rhino. Draft Jimmy G, says Ethan. Okay, if you want to lose. Take care, Mealy. Appreciate you. Matt O, later. Appreciate you. Don Army. Appreciate you. Overcome. Later, pal. J Far, make your pick live. I think I'm going to bounce right now. I'm going to make the pick, though. AC, appreciate you. Roger, appreciate you. Kilpatrick, see you later. I'll check right now. Rock out, Marsman Extraordinaire. The Patrick, later. D-Town, appreciate you. Peanut Butter and Waivers. Email me. I think I'm still waiting for your acceptance of the Marsman. Just email me and let me know. Later, everybody. Aloha. Email me.